and Tyson Fury had tried to maneuver around Deontay Wilder in this Trilogy match, which Tyson Fury was contractually obligated to give Deontay Wilder and obligated to, fulfill.
Those are the words of Blue Blood Sports TV, and I was asked to counterpunch this video, so here we go. First off, first counterpunch of this video. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury weren't trying to maneuver around anything. Tyson Fury stated that he would not fight Deontay Wilder, ever. And a contract supposedly was supposed to have been, or that particular contract was supposed to have been expired. Now, I don't know who discovered this news, because it had to be something that someone read and said, you know what, this contract is not expired anymore. It had to be something somewhere on the grounds of, this ain't valid anymore. This is expired. This is no longer, this contract is null. Something had to happen along those grounds for everyone to report that, okay? So just saying that. What Blue's doing is trying to put or associate Anthony Joshua with Tyson Fury as though these guys were getting together on Wilder, as though they were trying to freeze Wilder out of his third fight with Tyson Fury after he exercised the rematch clause. That wasn't the case. Anthony Joshua wanted Undisputed, and he didn't give a shit who had the belt. Okay, now we know what happened with the WBC opportunity when Wilder had it. He turned down offer after offer after offer, but still managed to blast Anthony Joshua for being a coward, the same coward that was offering you deals to fight him. But anyway, let me continue.
Attempted in everything in his power not to do so. Anthony Joshua, he weighed in on the fact that Tyson Fury couldn't fight Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua, again, as if Deontay Wilder and the contract doesn't even exist, as if it's null and void, Anthony Joshua once again states, well, it's all on Tyson Fury. He's the one that didn't make the fight happen. We could have made the fight happen. Well, he couldn't make the fight happen, and you knew he was contractually obligated to have a trilogy match with Deontay Wilder.
Stop. Let me counterpunch. Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn did not know anything. See, this is the problem. And this is the narrative that people try to spit. And they try to spin these narratives on like Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, again, knew what was going on with Tyson Fury versus what they were told. Okay, that's what he's not telling you. He's not telling you that Tyson Fury and his team, based on what he said, okay, based on what Bob Arum said, based on what Frank Warren said, these guys all got together, Tyson Fury, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, all these guys got together and said the same shit. The contract is expired. Bob Arum was like, he's a lawyer, so okay, a lawyer's telling you what he's read. And he said that Shelly Finkel didn't even know his own damn contract. Remember that? These things happen. So when you hear that, and you hear that from a side that you're trying to make a fight with, you that have a fighter that you want to fight because that fighter has the WBC and that WBC is something you want, and they tell you, well, hey, that fight, don't worry about that fight. That fight is null and void. That contract is expired. Again, everybody heard the same shit. It wasn't the fact that, oh, hey, we know you have that fight, so let's try to get together and get over on Wilder to get him out. That is not how it was. Why do you think Anthony Joshua explained it the way he did? He was like, just say what could have been the possibility from the get-go. Now, Tyson Fury did, in defense of Blue Blood, I will say he did say, hey, I could be fighting Wilder next. But he did not say I had to. That was never something that came out of his mouth saying, hey, I had to fight him. He said, well, maybe I might be fighting Wilder next. Who knows? And then when he did talk about, like he was on Michelle Joy Phelps, shout out to her. he was saying, well, hey, I'm not obliged to talk about it. So it was some big fucking secret that he was hiding from the people that he's trying to get the money from. So if anybody was trying to get over on anybody, it all points back to Fury. That's what Anthony Joshua was talking about. He wasn't talking about, hey, we're partners in crime. This Crockett and Tubbs. This ain't what that was. Like Wilder thought we was Crockett and Tubbs, with Tubbs and Crockett. But that's not how it was, okay? So Blue was trying to say that, again, he knew. Nobody knew anything. Tyson Fury really didn't say much about anything. What he did say, he's paying millions of dollars to make that fight go away, which that was strange, because it's like, if you paying $1 million for a fight to go away, why in the hell? And why are you paying that amount of money when you know the contract's expired? You don't need fancy lawyers for that type of shit. So that was something that I thought about, because I'm unbiased about the whole thing, because I could give a shit. Because if Wilder exercises contract, they need to honor it. But that's what people were saying, that the contract was expired. But let's continue.
Was in his contract, just like when Anthony Joshua was scheduled to face off against Andy Ruiz Jr. in their highly anticipated rematch after Andy Ruiz Jr. created history, became the first Mexican heavyweight world champion in the history of the sport of boxing.
Okay, stop. Third counterpunch. Okay? And final, because I'm going to stop right there. There's no need to further counterpunch Blue Blood on this issue. He is trying to compare what Wilder had versus what Joshua had with Ruiz, a rematch clause. For one, this isn't the second fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. It's the third, okay? That's one of the differences. And for two, it's not like Anthony Joshua is trying to make, Ruiz was trying to make a fight with Deontay Wilder. Oh, but wait, yeah, he was. He was trying to make a damn fight with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was all aboard. Now, in that point, in that case, Deontay Wilder was trying to get over on Joshua, and that was his way of freezing him out. See, he no longer needed Tyson Fury if he had Andy Ruiz, because Tyson Fury had nothing to offer. He was just trying to right his wrong, whatever the fuck that meant. If you thought you knocked him out and you thought you won the fight, why are you trying to run after a bald-headed cat from the UK that used to be a champion? Counterpunch. So no, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to compare those guys. The only problem is you didn't have this type of lies that was going on with the contract. Nobody said that Anthony Joshua, the contract that he had, that the rematch clause that he had with Andy Ruiz was voided. Okay? Nobody said that. Now, they were trying to get out of it. They were, but, they would have been sued. Eddie Hearn would have, he'd have put the hammer on the head and sued, because Andy Ruiz, he signed the contract first. Now, shout out to Al Heyman. He did get Andy Ruiz more money. He did get Andy, because he was only going to get what he got the first fight. Okay? But as far as comparing those two things, there was so many discrepancies about what was happening with Deontay Wilder, because for one, he wasn't making a peep. For two, we didn't know if he had his bicep surgery yet. We didn't even know if he was training. There wasn't a fucking pandemic. So they didn't have dates that was canceled again after again after again. Okay? We knew exactly what Anthony Joshua was doing. He was training for his rematch. That's what he was doing. Okay? We didn't know what Wilder was doing. So you can't compare those two losses and those two contracts. The contract, as far as its legitimacy, sure it's the same, because you had to honor both of them. Just like Tyson Fury has to honor it, just like Andy Ruiz had to. But don't put that in the same boat, because we didn't know what the hell Wilder was doing at all. We didn't know what he was doing. We seen him, he had one interview with PBC and he mentioned his bicep. He did. And it was so many fucking lies and different stories that was jumping all around without not being hurt, not injured it before, did he injure it during, it was falling off the bone, all that type of shit. And the second video was him twerking. Okay, so other than that, we really didn't hear much of more from Wilder until Tyson Fury tried to get out of that contract, and that magical expiration date on the contract appeared. Okay, so that's my counterpunches at Blue Blood Sports TV from trying to say Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury were trying to get over on Deontay Wilder like this was a heavyweight conspiracy. But the irony of this is both of those guys tried to do the same to Anthony Joshua. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this video. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.